Off-label promotion by Shayna, Kirsty, Aaron, and Nick. The off-label promotion of a product is something that occurs often in the healthcare system and leads to many ethical debates. This type of promotion happens when a company takes a product normally designed for one purpose and markets it for another purpose that has not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. This kind of advertisement has been done for many years for both medications and medical devices, despite the fact that off-label marketing is illegal under the Food, Drug, and Cosmetics Act. Companies who are found guilty of off-label marketing often have to pay millions of dollars in settlements, and in one record lawsuit, GlaxoSmithKline agreed to settle for over $1 billion after the off-label promotion of two antidepressant drugs. Despite these risks, companies still market drugs outside of their intended purposes, which causes many ethical issues.
The two main opposing ethical issues regarding off-label promotion stem from the patient's needs, the first being the doctor's right to prescribe medication out of its intended use. This could be beneficial for patients whom other medications may not have worked for in the past. Though there are several regulations in place to monitor the methods of off-label promotion, such as the FDCA and the False Claims Act, there are no governing laws that prevent physicians from prescribing drugs to patients in an off-label manner. In other words, if there is a drug on the market that the physician thinks will be beneficial to the patient but treats an entirely different ailment, the physician can prescribe it without repercussion from the FDA or any other governing body. The opposing argument states that off-label promotion removes the autonomy of the individual and that the patient is not fully informed of possible consequences due to the lack of FDA approval. The Office of Prescription Drug Promotion, or ODPD, is responsible for the oversight and regulation of the pharmaceutical industry's methods of promotion for drugs that have met FDA approval. Like the FDA, the ODPD has no authority or legal standing to dictate how a physician can prescribe the drug, nor for which ailments they can prescribe it as treatment for. Therefore, beneficence and non-maleficence are both called into question. In 1997, the Food and Drug Administration Modernization Act was introduced due to growing concerns that the physicians were abusing their ability to prescribe drugs in an off-label manner. This act created a loophole to the standing prohibition of off-label promotion, which in turn allowed manufacturers to provide medical practitioners with documents about off-label use of certain drugs. While the ability to prescribe drugs in an off-label manner was not a novel practice for physicians, it did introduce the ability for them to have a better knowledge of the side effects and adverse reactions that could stem from the off-label usage of some medications.
The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, as well as the False Claims Act, are both the most common laws regarding prosecution of pharmaceutical companies for off-label promotion, a clear defiance of the FDA. The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act prohibits misbranding of a drug or device. Promotion of a drug for use unintended nor approved by the FDA constitutes off-label promotion. The False Claims Act prohibits making false claims for payment by the federal government. It is the government's position, should a pharmaceutical company promote a drug for use unintended, that the company caused a false claim for payment to be made by the government. A popular off-label promotion case, settled in 2009, shows the deliberate use of the law to stop such practices. Zyprexa, also known as olanzapine, is a drug used to treat psychiatric disorders in adults. Finalized in 1996, the FDA approval covered the treatment of psychiatric disorders such as bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. However, the FDA approval did not cover Zyprexa for the treatment of psychiatric conditions associated with dementia or sleeping disorders. The resulting settlement was one of the largest of its time at $1.415 billion. In addition, the FDA required that Zyprexa contain a black box warning, which alerts consumers and healthcare providers to serious safety concerns or life-threatening risks that were associated with giving the drug to the elderly. According to court documents, instances dating back to 1999 show Zyprexa deliberately informing sales associates to ignore the law and promote off-label use to a variety of nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Considering sales to the elderly constituted 25% of Zyprexa sales overall, the fact found by the FDA that antipsychotic medications have a death rate of 1.6 to 1.7 times higher than those whom took a placebo, all the more alarming.
I don't believe in off-label promotions because I don't think people should be used as test subjects.
I believe that off-label
use has both pros and cons. Pros, there's a lot of products that can work for more than just its FDA-approved uses. On the cons, there's a lot of devices that can negatively affect a patient if used off-label. I think a patient should be adequately informed, but the doctor should also be aware of the dangers and not take appropriate precautions when using off-label use products.
I believe off-label promotion is unethical because I don't believe in the endangering of human beings in the name of science.
I personally think that the off-label promotion of a drug or a device is something that falls completely outside the realm of ethical norms. Even if the person marketing the product thinks that it might be of a overall benefit to the patient to use it in this application, using it outside of what its intended purposes are takes away from the autonomy and the informed consent of the patient and overall causes more bad than good.
Personally, I think there are some instances in which off-label promotion can be beneficial. For example, a cancer drug called Tasigna is now being used in lower doses to help treat Parkinson's patients. And in small clinical trials, it has shown to have success. Therefore, I don't think that you should always condemn off-label promotion.
In the end, off-label marketing has both advocates and dissenting opinions against it. People that are advocates for it will say that there are certain medications on the market that will treat one thing but can be very beneficial for something else, and that having to go through the regulatory process of getting it approved by the FDA would be ruining a lot of people's lives that could be getting treated by it in the meantime. Whereas the dissenting opinions will say no matter what, if you're treating somebody with an off-market product, you're stripping them of their autonomy and their ability to be completely informed before giving their consent on it.